Brother, the whole world is under the power of the evil one, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Welcome brothers and sisters. I want to testify about a church of Satan located in the center of our city, for the devil has established his throne in many churches where he is ruling. The Bible say, "To the angel of the church in Pergamum write, these are the words of the one who holds the sharp, double-edged sword, I know where you live, where the throne of Satan sits. Yet you have held fast to my name and have not denied your faith in me." Brother, I was invited to a church for I had problems. I never knew that Satan had built many churches in the end of time, whose purpose is to capture the stars and destiny of the innocent. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full. When I joined this church of Satan, quickly I saw celebrity, politician and notorious men of God, who came to the prince of this world for power, money and the goods of this world. I saw thousands of men and women coming to the ancient serpent, the arch-enemy of God, for wealth and power. They are willing to sell their souls for money. Brother, in this churches I saw ancient gods. I saw the fallen angels, the former residents of heaven. I saw the watchers, the giants and the Nephilim. When I got initiated in this satanic church, the arch-enemy of God Lucifer assigned dwarves, demon, mythological dragon and monsters to work with me in order to destroy humanity. I saw the army of Titans and Olympians under the leadership of the devil. These were the adversary of God and humanity. They were tremendous and breathtaking. When I saw the giants, the Titan and the ancient gods behind Lucifer in this church, I was amazed by this ancient army of the dragon. The Bible say, "Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, with great fury the devil has come down to you, knowing he has only a short time." And when the dragon saw that he had been thrown to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. Welcome brothers. I am the fifth or the last of my family. I could never predict what would happen in my life, for everything was fine in my father's house. Indeed, we were living a normal life and things seems perfect and going well. My father was working hard to raise his family. As a result, we did not lack of anything. My father was the cornerstone of the family, financing our study and supporting us. We really had a good life until something unexpected and dramatic happened. As a result, our life changed forever. Actually, my father used to travel to different provinces of the country in relation with his work. He never had a health issue and was in good health. I remember as my father was on a work journey in the southeast of the country, we got the unexpected and shocking news of his death. We never expected this to happen. This news was a shock to the family, for our father did not have health problem and we never even think that something like this could happen. When this news reached my ears, I was shaken, and I could not accept my dad was dead. It sounded unreal. Very quickly I became suspicious. I said in my heart, Dad was in good health and he was prosperous. Someone must be responsible for this, and he must pay. I was confused and angry in my heart, and I made up my mind to uncover the truth about the death of my father, for I had no peace and I could not sleep in the night. My heart was troubled and I was in a wonderland. In that moment of anger, the devil saw the opportunity to get closer to me. I remember I was sitting in front of the gate of our place pondering, when suddenly I saw a friend, who handed me an invitation to his church. I did not mind reading the invitation, I just put it in my pocket. Later I got in the house and I opened it. When I looked, I saw that it was a church invitation. This was a church that was located in the city center. Many days later I felt a need to visit this church. On that day when I got to the church, I saw that there was nothing appealing about this place, but I got inside anyway. When I got in this church, I saw a number of people waiting in the reception. I noticed that these people in the reception had removed their shoes. Therefore I had to remove my shoes. Sometime later I got inside the main hall. These people welcomed me and asked me, "Can you tell us what people say about our church?" I found this question really strange. I said it's just a church like other church. I was given an invitation, that is why I came. I could not understand that this was a church opened by the order of Satan. I was actually in a church of Satan. When they asked me about my problem, I began to tell them about the tragic and unexpected death of my father. I said to them, I have just lost my father, but I do not believe that the death of my father was natural. I want to know who has killed my father. After hearing my concern, these people took my name, and they asked me, brother, we need your permission to transmit you light. I found this strange when they talked to me about light. What is certain is that this light was not Jesus Christ. When I agreed to receive the so-called light, they laid hand on me. Quickly I was introduced to a strange god called Tsu, who is the god of union and gathering. In spite of the fact that I saw strange things in this church, nonetheless my determination was to uncover the killer of my father. In truth, I was already enchanted, and in a strange ritual I was transmitted the mysterious light. I was required to attend the church in order to learn and to be initiated. Brother, this church was really huge and there was a countless crowds of people. The church was called the Paradise on the Earth. There were the elite of the country in this church, even pastors. These pastors that were attending the Church of Satan are popular in the country and their churches have symbol of Satan. Given that I came under manipulation and enchantment, I became attached to this satanic church, yet I come from a Christian family where there were even men of God. Right after joining this church I began to experience paranormal phenomena, for my spiritual eyes were being opened. In order to operate in the spirit world with spiritual entity, there were strange manifestation happening to me. These paranormal phenomena were our preparation to the spirit world. This was necessary in order to remove fear and mercy in us. Through this training we were deprived of human feeling of empathy and mercy. When I joined this satanic place, first teaching that I received in this church was about the angle of the pyramid. In fact, the pyramid is the symbol of men rising to God and God descending to men. When the pyramid is reverse in this teaching, it was called the star. The priest explained that the world is ruled and function according to the law of the pyramid, for when Jesus ran away from the Roman official he went to Egypt, the land of pyramid. The world elite traveled to Egypt to get hidden mystery from the pyramid. The priest said, the newly initiated members were supposed to mount the heaven to God through the pyramid, and God was supposed to come down to them thanks to their offering and sacrifice. Given that the Magi were following stars in heaven and given that the pyramid is upward, our God has saw your star and he must now take over your star. The star is the wealth and goodness that God gave men to enjoy life on the earth. It is the star of men that the devil is after. During this ritual the priest said to the newly initiate, you must wear the symbol of our God, for you belong to our God. The symbol of this strange god was called a meat armor. The priest said there are many gods that we should know, and there are many Jesus. On that day the priest introduced to us many Jesus, such as the Jesus of the Son, the Jesus of love and so on. Every one of this Jesus had an attribute and specific power. On that day I was transmitted light and I was assigned to work in the hospital and cause destruction. Many days later I was made know that I was to be initiated in a ritual in the church. On that day at midnight I went to church and joined other newly initiated member. We all came with candle, oil and other object. When we all entered the church the priest closed the gate of the church. It was really dark. Quickly I began to hear sound demonic birds. I heard noises of demonic beast and I felt a wind that was not of the earth. During the initiation 3 fingers were pointed on my back head, in order to mark me with the number 666. Make no mistake, the devil is already marking the population of the earth with the number 666. On that day interdimensional ability to communicate with the spirit world was activated. During this initiation I felt like horns coming out of my head. The feeling of fear was gone. I felt emboldened and empowered. From that day onward I began to control people and dominate them through my eyes. I was then required to attend the church to meet the priest for new assignment. When I went to the temple I entered the holy place to meet the priest. We were a number of newly initiated member. The priest told me, in view of the assignment ahead you need more angels, that would empower you. Each one of you is supposed to receive spiritual entities that would support you. I was given demons. Among them were demons that were of short size. These short demons were dwarves, old people of short size. I was also given an extremely beautiful lady, having hair going down to her bottom. She was a goddess. This diva was the siren Elizabeth. I was given another demon that was hybrid, for he was half human and half animal. There was also a demon who had no hand. This demon had the wing of a bird. These evil spirits were my companion. Wherever I went I was accompanied by them. These demons were my messenger. Finally the priest told me, now you need a permanent companion, a spirit that will always be with you. The priest gave me a demon that was a crow, who was always with me. This crow used to bring me meat to eat. The meat were animal and fish meat in the eyes of the flesh. In truth this meat was human flesh that I was consuming. When I went through initiation, I had to find my own place, where I was supposed to leave an opening at the ceiling for the crow, who was physical and spiritual. The crow was dropping juice for me, which is human blood. Finally the priest assigned me to my first mission of destruction. During my initiation I was handed an eagle that was my eyes. I mean whenever the eagle was flying, whatever he saw while flying was broadcasted in the magic mirror. In terms of my activity in the hospital, I would advise godchildren to always pray before taking a loved one to hospital. This is a place of demonic activity. Given that I was able to operate interdimensional movement physically and spiritually, I could come to the hospital in the shape of a doctor and administer treatment in the appearance of a doctor in order to cause death. In fact, we were administering fake treatment that would aggravate the patient condition and kill him. I destroy a lot of children because I was working in pediatric department. Brother learned to pray before taking the child to the hospital. When people came with sickness of witchcraft origin, I had to overpower the spirit of sickness. We work in a way that people would not suspect the hospital. There came a time I wanted to rise in level and become leader. Therefore I needed more sacrifice. On that day when the first victim came to the hospital, he had hypertension issue. Immediately I did invocation and I called the spirit of confusion. When this demon came, he told me that he was in hurry because he was busy performing an urgent task that he had to finish. I asked him to enter the lady nurse that was treating the hypertension patient and confuse her, so that she would administer the wrong medication. Actually this patient came in good condition, for he was walking by himself. There was nothing wrong except high blood pressure. However, when the demon of confusion entered the nurse, the latter went on to administer a medication that was used in reanimation in order to increase blood pressure. When the nurse injected this medication to this patient, his blood pressure increased dramatically. Straight away I saw the demon of confusion that had entered the nurse leaving her body and telling me goodbye, for he was in a hurry. In the meantime the patient that was administered the wrong medication was in convulsion, and the nurse began to panic. In that moment of panic I came and I began to do invocation. In order to capture the soul of this patient, godchildren in hospital must learn to deal with medical problem in prayer. Even if your loved one is not breathing anymore in the hospital, when you pray with determination he will come back, because his soul is just around. He will return to the body if you really pray with faith and determination. Actually, when witches capture human soul in order to kill, to cause death, they encounter a strong wind of resistance and opposition. This wind is a natural defense system, and in this circumstance if you pray for your loved one who is dead and not breathing, his soul is likely to come back to the body, and he will regain consciousness. When I joined this dark church I initiated 4 people and we began to work in a team. By God's grace the Lord saved me from this satanic church. However, 4 of my colleagues that I initiated in this evil church are dead. Therefore I am here testifying by God's grace, while I continue to cause death in hospital. Afterward I was assigned to capture the stars of 5 women. I and my colleague were able to find 5 women thanks to the power of domination and control. I bought many beers and I placed them on the table before my compound. This in order to attract the attention of ladies in the street. It was not long before I catch a victim. Suddenly a lady that was passing turned up and asked to join us in order to drink with us. When she came, we began to chat and I gave her a lot of money to cook me some food, and I told her to invite her friend, and I lied to her that it was my friend's birthday. The lady took the money and called her friend and they cooked the food for us. Later on, when we went all together to a popular bar of our borough, I want to warn women that are after men for money, you are likely to fall prey of Satanist. When we arrive at the bar we began to spend the money that was made available to us by the satanic world. We bought a lot of beers in order to capture the mind and heart of these ladies. My friend looked deep in the eyes of one of the lady and he entered the mind of the lady through telepathic power, and he was able to manipulate the mind and emotion of the lady, and finally he established a connection of love between him and the lady. I was able to enter the mind of one of this lady through telepathic power in order to manipulate her thought. Brother, you can be singing a song in your heart. I reached a level where I could penetrate your mind and become aware of the fact that you are singing that particular song, unless you are a new creation. We were in this bar with these ladies and we were drinking. Our purpose was to capture their stars, which is their destinies. Let me inform you God people that they are numbers of notorious and popular bar in the city where there are intense demonic activity. These bars have logo of lion, rhinoceros and animals that are demons. These demonic animals intensify their activity from midnight to 4 a.m. We were drinking with these ladies and when they saw that it was 9 they wanted to leave. I could not let that happen for our mission was to capture their star which are God potentiality and wealth in their lives. When it was 9 p.m. I blocked the clock through magic prayer, and we put it in the spirit of these ladies that it was at 9 p.m. When it was 11 p.m. in their mind they still thought that it was 9 p.m. Thanks to manipulation they were under the impression that it was 9 p.m., yet it was already 11 p.m. Whenever they watched the clock they saw that it was 9 yet they were under manipulation. Then we realized that the money that was provided to us by the dark world had ended. Quickly we invoke the angel of robbery, that is responsible for the disappearance of money everywhere in company and enterprise, so that he will steal money for us. And while we were dancing with these young ladies in the bar, I saw that they came under the control of the angel that control bars. This angel that is a goddess, dwell in the mirrors of bars, nightclub and disco. Indeed there is a woman, a goddess who sit in the mirrors of bars, nightclub and discotheque. This goddess influence and enchant people drinking and dancing in bars and nightclub. Brother, you must note that in all the bars and nightclub there are demons at the gates. There are also demons standing around people that are drinking and talking. There are also demons that stand in the toilet. Finally there are demons that follow people at home when they leave the bars. These are monitoring demons. I was drinking with these young lady and when I went to the toilet, quickly I saw an angel that had a huge vase. This recipient was full of pee from people attending the bar. Actually, whenever people came to pee, this demonic angel was collecting their pee in a cup and he was dropping them in the vase. These pee that are collected in the toilet by this angel was turned it to beer. This angel that operate in bars replaced normal beers with these pee that he transformed to beer that people drink in bars. These demons replace normal beers with pee that he collect in the toilet. We were in bar drinking but when it was 1 a.m., these girls realized that it was not 9 anymore and they began to wonder how they would go home. I suggested that we find a hotel to sleep. When they agree we left to the hotel at the 14th Street. Brother, in many bars and nightclub in the world demons stand in the toilet in order to get the pee of people in the bars and turn them to beers that people would drink. Many things that people eat in the night in those bars and nightclub were human flesh turned to animal meat. Thus one of our mission was to cause humanity to eat human flesh, for eating meat that is human flesh has implication in many level. I mean you will have health or mental issue. The beer that is pee in the normal beers is the same in terms of taste. But spiritually this beer from pee destroy capacity that God has placed in men. We were in the hotel with these girls and we needed them to sleep deeply, therefore we blew smoke of enchantment. As a result they slept deeply after inhaling the smoke of enchantment. As soon as they slept we went on to operate astral traveling. I went out my body and I traveled to the temple in order to summon the spirit of these girls and capture their stars. When I left my body I traveled in the speed of thought to the temple. Immediately I summoned the spirit of these ladies in the temple in order to capture their stars. 4 of these girls responded to the magic prayer, but one of them resisted our magic formula that I was doing. Given that one of these girls was resisting magic formula I summoned more entities, such as the transporter spirit, the charger spirit and the elevator spirit. We held each other's hand and we unified our strength in order to summon the spirit of this lady. However, despite our efforts we were not successful and they could do nothing. I decided to abandon this operation though I knew I would be punished by our priest. When I reported this failure to the priest, I was ordered to undergo punishment for this failure, for in the world Satan there is no mercy. When you are required to sacrifice your mother, you either do it or you die in her stead. Because of violence with which we were treated, I began to understand that there will be confrontation and misunderstanding with these priests because of threat of violence. When we were in the temple, we began to seize the star of these four ladies and all the potentiality that God has placed in them, for the devil has nothing, he only steal what God give people. Whenever he see people potential and blessing in the crystal bowl, he is desperate to steal it. We were reading people destiny and potentiality in crystal ball in order to determine their blessing and steal their star. People potentiality are like ball of crystal upon which you can read their blessing that God gave them. In order to steal these ladies' potentiality and star, we began to speak word of accusation. We said, given that you ate our food and you drank our beers and you enjoy our money, we have legality to attack you. In fact, in order to attack believers they had to open doors. We must find them in breach of God law, for we needed legality. When you sin you break the law, and you give the devil legality, and he will start accusing you. Thanks to magic formula and mystical prayer, these ladies were put in spiritual prison and their stars were captured. They continue their life but their star were stolen. Given that I was unable to capture the star of the fifth lady, my master the priest of the church went on to abduct the girl in the flesh in order to do ritual and capture her star. They tried hard and did magic prayer to steal her star. To our surprise a shining man appeared and he took the girl away. I don't know what was happening and who was the shining man that took the girl. In the morning I learned that the young lady had become mental, she lost her mind. I felt that I should do something for her and restore her to consciousness. I needed to purify her so that she would return to normality. I kept the young lady in the hotel. Then I got a call that my son was in the coma in the hospital. Quickly I went to the hospital to see him. Then I went to the temple. Upon arrival the priest told me, you must offer us a soul in compensation for the young girl that you brought us, otherwise your child that is in the hospital will die. He is already in the bottle. Quickly the priest then show me my child that was in the bottle, and he tell me, you must offer the sacrifice. If you fail we gonna have to take your child. The following day I began to work in order to offer a human sacrifice. I was then informed that the following day, which was a Sunday, will be a day of thanksgiving. This service of thanksgiving take place in many countries where this satanic church is located. This time around it was supposed to be held in the Congo. This is an international gathering that was supposed to be attended by the Supreme Master, the devil, the one who is the source of our wealth, blessing and notoriety. Satan himself was supposed to attend this church service. On that day I was in the church for baptism, and after baptism I was supposed to rush to find a prey, a human sacrifice, as required by the priest. I was in a situation where my child was in the coma in the hospital. I had this young lady that had become mental that I left locked in the hotel. I was supposed to return her to her consciousness. On the other hand, I had to find a prey that was supposed to be a human sacrifice. While I was in the church, to my surprise the priest told me, fear not, your child will not die today in case you fail to offer the sacrifice today. Therefore you must wait and attend the Thanksgiving service, for the Supreme Master himself will baptize you. On that day of Thanksgiving the church was packed with crowds of people that were from different nations. The crowds was massive. When it was midnight the gate of the church was closed, for the Thanksgiving service was to start. When the ceremony or the service began I was blown away by the organization and the crowds. People were assembled in uniform and some of them came from abroad for this ceremony. It was breathtaking. As we were gathered, paranormal phenomena began to occur. Firstly, we saw a mysterious hill that sprang up from the ground. The mysterious hill rose before the congregation of countless of people. Not long after the appearance of this mysterious mountain, I saw a black horse having wings and horn, coming from distance and rising to the top of the hill. The winged horse was then joined by a second winged horse having horn on top of the hill. These horses were huge and they were not of this earth. I heard the priest telling the countless crowds to close their eyes. There was an incredible silence. When the multitude closed the eye I sensed like a hairy beast passing by my side, but I kept my eyes closed as instructed by the priest. Then a powerful wind from the spirit world began to blow in the congregation. I had goosebump in my hair. Suddenly I began to hear the priest speaking demonic language and uttering words of praise and worship to the Supreme Master Lucifer. I heard him saying, "You are God, the only one, you are the Supreme Master, to you be glory." It was an incredible and breathtaking moment. Then I heard a bell ringing 3 times. Then the priest say to the congregation, "You can open your eyes." When the countless crowds had opened the eyes, I saw these 2 black wings horses on the top of the mountain. They were really huge and tremendous. Then I saw the arrival of Diva and Goddess of the spirit world. These siren came with mummies who had powder all over their face. They began to glorify the Supreme Master Lucifer with all the name of glory. I saw some people in the congregation on their knees in tears glorifying the devil exactly the way Christians glorify the Lord Jesus. The goddess and mummies did ritual and ceremony, and they were dancing macabre dance. Then they disappeared abruptly. As soon as they disappeared I saw another mountain rising from the ground going to space before the congregation. Finally I saw a humanoid entity coming down from heaven. This extraordinary man was tall and he was dressed in black vestment and he was holding a huge trident. This tremendous being was vibrating breathtaking power and energy. He had extraordinary authority. This entity was followed by a huge and powerful army of the fallen behind him. Behind the devil who stood at the top of this mountain, I saw a huge army made up of angels. I was observing this army when I saw all kinds of demonic beast, demonic birds and all kind of entity. In this army of Lucifer I saw various titans and Olympians gods that ruled the earth. I saw the Nephilim and the giant and they were tremendous and extraordinary. There were all kind of creatures. I saw a strange and demonic lion that you never seen before. I saw snake of 7 head and snake of many heads. I saw demonic and mythologic birds that were strange and don't exist on the earth. I saw hybrid demon that were half human and half animal. There were mythological creature that we study in ancient civilization. The army of Lucifer was behind him. When the devil, the enemy of God, came down, he said no word. He was in a vestment that was hiding his face, though we could see his green eyes that were shining like the eyes of wolf in the bush in the night. When W was observing the devil on top of the mountain and his army behind him, I felt that I was before a tremendous power and he was vibrating extraordinary energy. The devil instructed 5 angels of baptism to baptize the newly initiated. During the baptism the 5 angels killed people who disclosed the secret of the devil and those who had failed in their assignment were also killed. I was baptized by the angel of baptism who baptized me by putting the letter S on my body, and the angel placed in me the spirit of animal. The angel undressed me completely. He put a little fire on my hand and I felt like the fire was moving all over my body. I saw the letter S appearing on my hand, and I felt like I was paralyzed. I heard the voice of Satan saying to his angel, "Baptize him so that he will be merciless and he must recognize the gods." The angel then dressed me with an animal skin that was cut in half. When the baptism was finished I fell to the ground. When I woke to my surprise I was floating in a local river, and I was in a net that fishermen leave in this popular river. It was early morning